the show. Thanks for coming in big numbers today in Perth. And would you please put before we introduce him, I'll tell you what's going to happen. He'll do about half an hour. Going to have a very short 5-minute break, which will get you time to get some more drinks or go where you want to go. And then he'll do the second half hour of the show. But it's Coke 106, all new gag. So would you please welcome, here at the Raffles on Sunday in Perth, the King Billy Coke Bottle.
Welcome to church. Marvellous, isn't it? I'll go and get Laurie Connell out of jail early and he doesn't even fucking turn up. Mind you, knives is Carmen Lawrence because nobody told her. Allegedly. Yeah. Firstly, I've got to tell you, I come to this place because I used to drink here years ago and I had to come back and find my roots, eh? This story, the first one I'm going to be telling you here, is dedicated, well, he ain't even dead yet, but I might as well dedicate it to him. That a fucking mobile phone. Fucking assholes have been taking them everywhere, eh? But anyway, this is true. This is dedicated to a good mate of mine. His name is Swampy Boom Boom Marsh. And he's working at the Bellevue Hotel in Townsville. He told the story because he witnessed what happened. It was like this. He'd gone to court. I don't know what it was. I think he was driving with a bad breath, but anyway. He'd gone to court and next thing the prosecuting sergeant, he's gone and called out, you know, in front of the magistrate. He said, "Your Worship, standing in front of you is Big Bill Brannigan, big bass player and band leader of the Boggabilla Brass Band." He said, "who has been charged with a heinous crime of sodomizing a junior member of the brass band." He said, "How do you plead?" Big Bill Brannigan said, "Well, I plead guilty." The magistrate, he stood up, he said, "Well, I find him not guilty." Prosecuting sergeant said, "But, Your Honour, Big Bill Brannigan, big bass player and best band leader of the Boggabilla Brass Boys Band, he's pleaded guilty to the heinous crime of sodomy." He said, "That means he's rooted him up the arse." Magistrate just said, "Yeah, all right, prosecuting sergeant." He said, "I happen to be a learned man, I know what sodomy is." He said, "But I find him not guilty." He said, "Because," he said, "last Anzac Day," he said, "I thought the Boggabilla Brass Band, and as far as I'm concerned, they all need fucking." Do I get a drink up here or what? Am I black or something? But one other story is that, you know, Jiddigan, you know, that's Morton's wife, she gone to, you know, the confession. And anyway, while she in the confessional, she said, "Father, I've got to tell you something. I met this bloke and he done something to me." So, you know what the Catholic priests are like. He grabbed her on the bumpy bits and said, "Did he touch you like this?" She said, "No, it was worse than that, Father." He said, "Did he kiss you like this?" She said, "No, it was worse than that, Father." So he done the business, you know. Said, "Did he do that?" She said, "No, it was worse than that, Father." He said, "What could be worse than that?" He said, "He gave me herpes." actually told about those sort of blokes, you know, that Morton, he spent some time in His Majesty's service or whatever it is, what, prison? And he said to this bloke, he said, you know, he said to this ex-priest, he said, what are you in here for, mate? He said, I'm in for arson. Well, I said, what, licking fires? He said, no, little boys. And another thing we witnessed the other day, Morton, you know, he's in a restaurant, and there was a Methodist priest and a Catholic priest, and the wine waiter's come around and he poured a red grog out there for the Catholic priest. He went to pour one for the Methodist one. I'm thinking of methylated spirit or something, I get confused. Anyway, he put his hand over the top of the glass, you know, that other one, the Methodist one. And he said, listen, I'm sorry, I don't want any, when it comes to alcohol, I'd rather, you know, go to buggery. The Catholic priest, you didn't tell me I had a fucking choice. That's story about Jiddigan. She got to see the doctor, and the doctor's examined her, and he said, well, Jiddigan, he said, I see you got acute angina. She said, I come here to be examined, not fucking admired. Then Morton, he's gone to the doctor, and what's happened is that, you know, he's going to get a checkup for this prostate cancer. And the doctor said to Morton, he said, right, Morton, bend over. And he's put on a rubber glove. Well, I said, what are you going to do? He said, well, I'm going to put one of my fingers in your rectum and have a bit of a feel around, you know. Well, I said, oh, you wouldn't be able to put two fingers in there, could you? He said, why is that? He said, well, I'd like a second opinion. You get some funny things out of our family, but Cousin Albert the other day, he's walked up to the bar and hotel, he said, hey, Billy, morning. Guess what? My wife just had triplets. I said, congratulations. He said, not bad, eh? I put in 6 inches and come out with 6 feet. You're supposed to be filming this, not laughing, asshole. You're getting tired. But what had happened is, you know, old grandfather Coke bottle, he's gone, you know, to the doctor with grandma, and he's gone a bit deaf, you know. And anyway, the doctor said, well, you better take off your shirt. Old grandfather said, hey, what did he say? He said, take off your shirt, darling. Ah. And he's checked the heartbeat and all that sort of thing. He said, well, look, he said, I'm going to want you to take these jars home. He said, I want you to bring back a sample of your urine, feces, and what you call it, that other one, fucking sperm. I don't like using bad words around here. Anyway, I said, hey, what do you say? She said, he wants to look at your pajamas. I keep talking about doctors. A lot of people don't know that Morton, he was a doctor once. Yeah, true, no bullshit, mate. But he'd been struck off, right? And anyway, what's happened is that this what's called bloke is coming in complaining to Morton. He said, oh, Dr. Morton, he said, I've got sore eyes. So anyway, he's going to examine him. He said, you got it, mate. You got a CB. He said, fucking CB? He said, I've heard of VD and TB. What's a CB? He said, Christian brother. I said, Christian brother? What's Christian brother got to do with sore eyes? He said, it means your pupils are fucked. Actually, another time, this is when he got deregistered, is this bloke has come in and he couldn't speak, and Morton was doing some sort of speech therapy, you know. He said to the bloke, he said, right, take your clothes off. He said, bend over that couch there. Then Morton, he's looked around on the table and he saw this carving he bought in Bali, you know, that cheap shit, wooden shit. And he's turned around and run up to him and jammed a fair up his ass. The bloke went, hey! He said, that's good now. He said, put your clothes back on, come back tomorrow, we'll try and get a bee out of you. Actually, still talking about doctors, is that, you know, that Jiddigan, she's gone in to go and see the doctor. I said, what can I do for you? She said, oh, doc, there's something wrong with my ovaries. He went, no, hang on, you mean ovaries. Anyway, she gone up there, got all strapped up. He's had a look in there and he said, yep, you're right. Ovaries, it has been a cockatoo in here. Another time, you know, Jiddigan, she come home to Morton and said, oh, Morton, you can't believe it. I forgot to take my contradiction tablet. I said, God, you woman, he said, fucking contradiction tablet? God, you ignorant? She said, yeah, I know, 3 months. No coppers here, eh? Oh, good. Because I didn't say this, Morton did. He said, what's 500 yards long and got a wanker on each end? I said, what? He said, a speed trap. I didn't even bring the push bike, so don't worry about it. I'll tell you one thing. Me, Morton and Albert, the other day, we're driving down the road. Next thing, the fucking coppers pulled us over. And Morton said, what are you pulling me over for? I didn't do anything wrong. He said, that's it. He said, we've just been observing you for the last 5 kilometres, and you just won yourself a safety driving award. So you just won $1,000. He said, what are you going to do with the money, Morton? He said, oh, I'll probably spend it on driving lessons. I said, don't worry about him, officer, he's drunk, he doesn't know what he's fucking saying. Albert turned around and said, oh, you're fucking stealing this car, it's going to get us in the shit. Fishy survey. I'm getting dehydrated. Spotlight. Anyway, the other day, More than he driving down the road up here, and he doing 120 kilometres an hour in a 60 kilometre zone. Next thing, the police behind him, you know. So he's going 140, going 160, and next thing they're sort of nudging him over, you know, with a mudguard, and pulled him over the side of the road. The cop has got out, he said, "You ludicrous, mongrel, stupid fucking driver," he said, "what's your answer for your dangerous speed, endangering everybody else's life out here on the highway?" Well, I said, "Oh, well, it's like this." He said, "Last week my wife did again, she's run away with a copper." I said, "I thought you was bringing her back." He'll get a free tape. What are you laughing about? It's fucking all true. But this happened, talking about the bad language business. Morton, he got picked up by the coppers for making obscene phone calls. They got him in the lockup. He only had one phone call, you know, so he rang his solicitor. Anyway, it's a lady, you know, solicitor. He said, "Is that you, darling?" "Yes, Morton, what's you done now?" He said, "They got me for making obscene phone calls." He said, "Get me out of here straight away." She said, "Yeah, no problem, Morton." He said, "By the way," he said, "while I got you on the phone, did I ever tell you got good tits?" Should I leave the coppers alone? No, one more. This Morton, he got pulled up by the coppers, speeding. And Morton, he's got out of the car, you know. He said, "What if I was to call you a bastard?" He said, "Well, I'll charge you with that." He said, "On top of the speeding charge." He said, "Well, what if I was to say or think that you was a bastard?" He said, "Well, I can't charge you with what you're thinking." He said, "Good." He said, "I think you're a bastard." Actually, for the people that don't know that there's a new sex book out over in New Zealand. It's true. It's called Pharma Sutra. Actually, I've got to ask some questions because I always do this on my tapes. But you know what you get if you cross a hippopotamus with a lesbian? A lick a lot of puss. You know, Morton, he got some government grant, right, to start some shoe factory. And he brought out a range of shoes for lesbians, the joggers, you know. And he's called them Dikey. But he had to recall the first batch because he made the tongues too short. This one day, me and Morton sitting around in his kitchen, and we got what they call Laminex table back in those days. And Morton, he got some fat boiling up, he's going to make some chip. And anyway, the fat, he fucking boiled over the top, hit the element. Next thing, the bloody curtains are ablaze, you know. So Morton jumped up straight away, and he's gone straight away on the phone. He said, "Quick, hurry up, get around here straight away, the house is burning down." The bloke said, calm down. He said, "Where are you?" He said, "We're here." He said, "No, how did we get to you?" He said, "Why haven't you got that big fucking red truck anymore?" That fucking phone going again or what? Who's doing that? I hope he's not listening on that phone to these stories before they come out on my tape, eh? But anyway, I've got to say one thing. Did you about, that Michael Jackson fella? Who carries that monkey around for spare parts? Well, that Lisa Marie Presley said to him, "Hey, Michael, do you want kids when we get married?" He said, "Oh, yeah, only at the Bucks party." Cousin Albert, who I mentioned earlier on, his grandfather, he passed away. And me and Morton was going to the funeral. And later on we're at the wake, at their place. I said, "Oh, Cousin Albert, I'm really sorry to hear about grandfather passing away." He said, "Oh, thank you, Billy, thank you, Morton." He said, "One thing about it anyway. At least, he had a drink and he died peacefully in his sleep." I said, "Yeah, that's all right. What about the other fucking 30 people on the bus he was driving?" Morton has once applied for a job as a lifesaver, and he's gone for the job interview, and they said, "Well, for the first 6 months, you've got to just walk up and down the beach and you've got to check out, ladies' bikini lines, and if they're, a little bit, hairy, you've got to be doing the wax job. That's your job, Well, I said, "You fucking beauty." He said, "When can I start?" He said, "Well, first," he said, "you have to go to Merredin." I said, "Fucking Merredin? There's no beach at Merredin." He said, "No, that's the end of the queue." You're fucking late. You want me to start again? Here at the Raffles Hotel, well, Morton the other day, he rang up, this boss fella here, Rod Kelly. He rang him up, he said, "Excuse me, what time do you open?" He said, 10 o'clock. Oh. Anyway, so he hung up. 3 minutes later, he's rung up again. He said, "Excuse me, what time do you open?" He said, 10 o'clock. He said, "What time is it now?" He said, "Oh, about 9:30. Oh. "Excuse me, what time do you open?" He said, "Oh, look, I fucking told you." He said, "I open at 10 o'clock. I said, "You can't get in." I said, "I don't want to get in." He said, "I want to fucking get out." Morton the other day has walked in some chemist shop and says, "Excuse me, can I have a dozen condoms, thank you?" And he give him the condom and he laughing his head off, It's going out. Next day, come back again, Says, "Excuse me, can you give me another dozen condom?" He said, "Yeah, no worries." And then he's gone walking out, he's going, "This chemist for there's some fucking loony here, Said, "I wonder what this bloke's all about, Morton comes in the next day and said, "Excuse me, give me another dozen condom, thank you." He said, "Oh, yeah." Give him the dozen. He's going, off he gone. The chemist, he grabbed the assistant, he said, "Follow that bastard, find out where he goes and see what he's up to." Anyway, so he going up the road and he come back, He said, "You follow him?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Where'd you go?" He said, "Your place."